More information has come out on Malacia and his situation. One Manchester United player has picked up another injury in the international break. We've got to have a discussion with the injuries this season. Manchester United are going to sign a centre-back, probably two centre-backs this summer. Who are the number of names we've been linked to? Who are they? And what is the latest on the centre-back front? What's looking like the most likely deal to happen? As well as players that United are set to sell, Donny, Beek, Greenwood. What's the latest news on that and more? So please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Let's get into this Malacia story that's come out and said that Malacia is struggling with physical and mental problems. Now, this is such a shame. I have a lot of sympathy for Malacia. I thought he was quite good last season when he played for United. Was injured, missed pre-season, was meant to be back by like November, then it went wrong, was meant to be back by January, then it went wrong, was meant to be back by March, then it's gone wrong. He's now out for the rest of the season. And I feel like sometimes it's almost felt like, is this an injury and a surgery gone wrong, or is there more to it? I wouldn't be completely surprised if it was more than just an injury because of how this injury there's been so little communication over it, and he's been so quiet himself, Malacia, and the club have been very reluctant to speak on it. Malacia's deleted social media and not been seen a lot. But I do think if you've been out for this long, nearly a year, you're not really training with your teammates, you're not really involved, you're at an important phase in your career, and Man United might sell you and you've got that move to United. I have a lot of sympathy for Malacia, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was maybe struggling mentally with that side of his injury. But I do think the Swedish Rumble makes a good point, and we do have to question the origin of this report that's saying he's struggling physically and mentally. First of all, why is this report coming out and saying that he's struggling mentally when the club hasn't put a statement out to say he's struggling mentally, or the player hasn't put a statement out to say they're struggling mentally? Probably shouldn't do that. Particularly if you're not referencing any sort of information. He's saying, Malacia is struggling, not only physically, but mentally, but he hasn't, referenced where he's got that from, who's the source of information. He doesn't refer to any source, which, again, lowers his credibility. And I think if there was something going on with Malacia that he wanted the public to know, there would probably be a club statement. There's obviously maybe something going on beyond the injuries, the mental side of being out for so long with the injuries for sure. And I feel like this report is probably quite accurate, but I feel like it's reporting on players' mental health issues, I think, is a little bit questionable. Like, if he's struggling mentally and he's not come out public and said that, maybe the media shouldn't be doing that. Maybe it's a little bit speculative. But look, I wish that Malacia is the best. I hope that he's well. I hope that he gets through what he's struggling with, and I'll be fully behind him in terms of his return. I'd love to see him play for United again and put on a Man United shirt. He's a great young kid with a great work rate. One of the hardest working players at United. He was one of the first people to arrive, one of the last people to leave for training. Sometimes the first and sometimes the last. He would train really, really hard. Now, I do want to talk about young players, and I do want to talk about new additions to United. But obviously, if you watched my live stream earlier, we spoke about Aaron and Salimo, and there's been 4 or 5 reports over the last few days that have linked to this guy. There's a report back 2 months ago that links to this guy, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. So the 2 latest centre-backs to Man United have been linked with today is Aaron Ancelino and Maguire Injury. I spoke about them both in my video, my live stream earlier today, but we're going to speak a little bit more about Ancelino and the latest on that. He's been linked to United before. He's been linked to us a couple of times before, and has reported 17 million release clause. So we could maybe be brought in as a second centre-back. We could get a Bramthwaite for 60 million. Then we get a second centre-back for 17 million that's young, that can be moulded in. One to start, one to be young and moulded in. So he could be a second centre-back brought in. He's been compared a lot to his fellow countryman Romero. Some people are saying that he's actually more of a Sergio Ramos regen, but he's going to get compared to Romero just because he's Argentinian. And that the 18-year-old centre-back is very highly rated in Argentina because he's just immensely athletic. He's got great anticipation, tenacity, determination, reading of the game, and technically good on the ball, very good in possession, could play DM, could play across the back line. And for a young player, his reading of the game, his awareness, his positional awareness is at the top as well. So he looks a great young player that United are keeping their eye on. From what I like, I've not watched loads of the centre-back. In fact, I've not really watched any of the centre-back bar highlights and online clips and read up about him. But I'd watch him more if we get linked to him more, and he just sounds like he could be a good signing. Another player that I think would be a good signing is Jarrad Bramthwaite, but this is the problem. Everton's asking price of an excess of 60 million for Jarrad Bramthwaite could be an issue for Man United. While United are very interested in the player and he fits the bill for what they want, they also value their money. And now we've heard this a lot of times. I heard this from someone I spoke with. Man United are making it adamant and clear they're not going to overpay this summer. And I believe that. You look at Omar Brada coming in. He set Man City's 60 million price tag for centre-backs. Pep really wanted Maguire, but he said, no, we're not spending 70, 80 million on Maguire. We want Bramthwaite, but Omar Brada would say 60 million on a centre-back, that is it. And all of a sudden, Braithwaite could be 65 million, and they're going to be like, no, and there's competition, and maybe someone that does pay 65 million. I like Braithwaite. I hope we can get him for 60 million or less. I hope he comes to United, but there's going to be competition. He's English. Everton are going to up the price. He's a 50 million centre-back, but because he's got that English badge, he's going to be 60 to 70 million, which is something United might struggle with, because I don't see United wanting to pay over 60 million for Braithwaite. I think United, under Ineos, are making it clear we're not going to overpay anymore. We're not going to be taken for mugs. Ineos want to set an example of saying, you know, we wanted Braithwaite, but he was too expensive. We didn't get him, so people don't take advantage of us in the window, which is fair enough as well. Continuing into our next story, it was said that Harry Maguire's left the England camp and has been sent on a scan for a potential shoulder injury. It is such a shame, because Maguire in the past was always, maybe not always reliable in terms of performances, but was never injured, and you know, he was reliable in that sense. And with Maguire being probably our third best centre back after Varane and Martinez, we need, I mean, Johnny Evans has been great, but we need someone that's reliable in case something happens to Varane and Martinez. But Maguire this season hasn't. This is his third injury this season. Maguire's normally been able to stay fit ages, but he's not stayed fit this season. That could be another injury from Maguire, which some people will celebrate in the fan base, which I think is weird. Maybe Harry Maguire should be sold this summer. Maybe we should move on from him, yes. But I think when he's played for us this season, he's been good. I don't think there's any reason to hate on him this season. But I do think it's mad, and I saw this on Twitter, that Varane is labelled our most injury-prone defender, but Martinez, Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw, Evans, Malacia and Wan-Bissaka have all spent more time out than him this season. The only defender that stayed fitter longer than Varane this season is Diogo Dalot. And they want to get rid of Varane because he's unreliable, but he's been more reliable than everyone else this season, which I think is absolutely crazy. And the one thing I do question Neil over a little bit is the wanting to remove Rafael Varane. I would have kept him another year. I get that his wages are high, but I just think he's such a good defender. I think he's got way too much to offer to be left behind. I saw this on the United stand, and I wanted to quickly talk about this, but this is how many points do I think United will get in the next 4 games. I think we'll beat Brentford. I think we'll beat Chelsea. I think we'll lose to Liverpool. I think we'll draw to Bournemouth. So I would probably say we get 7 in the next 11 games, but let's hope we get 16. Do let me know yours down below. Part of me goes, maybe we can beat Liverpool. We've played Liverpool twice at home under 10 Hag. We've beaten both times. Can we make it 3-3? Hopefully so. We should be able to beat Brentford, but they gave Liverpool a tough game. They've given Arsenal tough games. You just don't know. They didn't give Arsenal a tough game. I think it's someone else, aren't I? Chelsea, we did completely outplay them at Old Trafford, but they are a better team. And Bournemouth, well, they completely outplayed us when they came to Old Trafford, so we have to get our revenge as well. But I think we should be able to win, hopefully all, but I don't think all, the majority of these games. Going into the final couple of stories, it was said that Eintracht Frankfurt are not willing to pay the 8.5 million option to make Manchester United midfielder Donny van de Beek permanent this summer. It's such a shame. I love Donny. I really feel sorry for him, because I don't think he got the chance he deserved at United, and we probably didn't help with his progress and development, but he's got to go. I don't care if we let him go on a cheap loan or a cheap sale. We've got to move on for Donny. We've got to let him go. As much as I want him to turn it around and work at United, and how I thought this was going to be a good signing, you know, 8.5 million is not lighting the world up for Frankfurt. Had a poor loan at Everton, has been injured for United. There's just no money in Donny, and it will probably go down as arguably the worst Man United signing of all time because of Ollie's reluctance to play him as well, which is such a shame, because I do like Donny van de Beek. Other news coming in is that United have told Atletico Madrid that it will cost them 50 million to sign Mason Greenwood this summer, and Atletico believe the price is outrageous. I believe this is true. I believe United will probably sell Greenwood for 30 to 40 million, but will act like they're going to sell him for 50 million to try and entice higher offers as a game. I think Mason Greenwood will leave Manchester United this summer. I think he will stay in Spain, and I think he will go for around the 30 million mark with United pushing to sell him, is what I think will happen. I don't think he'll go for 50 million. I think he'll go more for 30 million. I think Man United just thought, well, Atletico are interested in him, let's say that the price tag's a lot more than it actually is, because, you know, see if they can overpay, and obviously all of that. Look, I think Greenwood will probably go for about 30 to 40 million. I think that's kind of fair. 1 year left of his contract, been good in La Liga, but there are better wingers out there for 30 to 40 million. But we know that there's a top player, Mason Greenwood, although I don't think we're going to see him at Manchester United again. No decision has been made on Mason Greenwood's future, but I just feel like we're not going to see him in a Man United shirt again. I feel like he's not coming back, and I think he's moved on from United, reportedly making comments that he wants to stay in Spain, and it's sort of over United, which is fair. But listen, people, that is all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, takeover news, and more. Please hit that like button. I just fell asleep for like the last minute of this live stream, so I do apologise if I was waffling about Greenwood there at the end as well, but I was just saying personally, I don't think he's coming back to United. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.